Hello, my name is Brian Mosteller, and this is SC Conversation. This is our first show, and I would like to welcome all the viewers and thank all of our great sponsors of the show. SC Conversation is a show about South Carolina. We will discuss topics that affect the upstate of South Carolina as well as the entire state. In the first few shows, our guests will be candidates running for public offices here in the upstate. We will be discussing many topics here on the show. Topics will range from politics, sports, schools, religion, our aging population, and any outstanding issues that arise here in South Carolina. We will invite people on the show from both sides of the aisle to get a clear picture of where each side stands on the issues. We will always be fair and honest here on SC Conversation. If you have any ideas on what you would like to see on the show, please email them to show@scconversation.com. Also, please go and visit our website, scconversation.com, to obtain a list of guests for our upcoming shows. And please don't forget our sponsors. Many people have asked how they can help financially with the show. We've created a GoFundMe account for donations and support. The funds will be used not only to support the show, but we will look for areas in South Carolina where assistance may be needed. Also, go and like our Facebook page at SC Conversation. We would love to have your business, church, or organization be a sponsor of the show. Send an email to sponsor@scconversation.com. Thanks again for watching SC Conversation, and let's continue to make South Carolina a great place to live and raise our families. We look forward to seeing you here each Wednesday night at 9:30 and also on YouTube. We'll be right back after a short break. I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people and businesses who are sponsoring this show. When you visit the businesses, be sure to go in and tell them thank you for sponsoring SC Conversation.
Today's luxury vinyl tiles are not just durable, they provide beauty for your home. And Greer Flooring Center has the largest selection of luxury vinyl tiles and planks in the upstate. Visit the Greer Flooring showroom to see these exciting new products.
Hey, Upstate, Dave Ramsey here to tell you about our investing ELPs, Roger Sims and Jason Carr at Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Roger and Jason are the only people I personally endorse for investing right here in the Upstate. They specialize in retirement planning, 401k rollovers, as well as mutual funds and other investments. I personally recommend Roger Sims and Jason Carr of Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Call Roger and Jason today at 879-0337. That's 879-0337.
Hardwood flooring is the most popular kind of flooring, and no one has a larger selection of hardwood flooring than Greer Flooring Center. Remember, you'll always find what you're looking for at the price you're looking for at Greer Flooring Center.
Welcome back to SC Conversation. We're here talking with Dollie Collins, who is one of the candidates for the Greenville County School Board, District 17. Dollie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, first question here, Dollie. Tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I'm Dollie Collins. I am from Travelers Rest originally. Currently live up in the Travelers Rest Blue Ridge area. So I have 3 children. My oldest is 21. Middle one's 18, youngest one's 16. So I have one at Travelers Rest High School. I am a nurse. I'm an operating room nurse at St. Francis Hospital here in the area. Have been an operating room nurse for about 15 years, so very up to date and currently involved in all the COVID stuff that's going on. So my mom still lives in the area, and my entire family is from Travelers Rest in the Greenville area. So.
Good. So did you go to Greenville County Schools along
I
with your
did.
kids?
I graduated from Travelers Rest High School in 1990. I am once a devil dog, always a devil dog. So I am from the area.
Okay, okay. Your kids go to Greenville County
My
School?
kids go to, my 2 graduated from Travelers Rest High School, and my 3rd one will graduate from Travelers Rest High School.
Good, good. So you're one of the candidates who actually has a kid in school during all this?
Yes, I do. Yes, my youngest is a junior at Travelers Rest High School, so I'm very well versed on everything going on in the school district.
Okay, okay. Okay. So, what prompted you to run for the school board?
To be totally honest, just looking at all the information that was out there, the parents were starting to chime in, things that were going on. The end of the school year last year was very difficult. I had one that graduated and did not have the typical graduation that you would have seen. It was very hard. My youngest played softball and did not get to have a softball season. So in looking at that and saw how the end of the year was, there was some discussion on Facebook, as everyone is aware, of how we felt there really could be some changes. In discussing those types of changes and what we thought would be some things, we noticed that there's a lot of school board members who've been there for a really long time. And sometimes there just seems to maybe need a fresh face, a fresh idea, things like that. And when the opportunity arose, I thought, let's see what kind of changes we can make. I like to be a part of change. I like to be a part of something new.
Well, great. Always glad to have different candidates with different views, to run for different offices. So what's one of your greatest concerns with the pandemic here that we have going on, and the 1 day a week, going to school right now, it's going to go to 2. What are some of your greatest concerns about how things are being handled by the Greenville County administration?
Probably one of my biggest concerns is there are a lot of numbers flying around everywhere from CDC, from DHEC, from Greenville County itself. And there's a lot of students who need face-to-face interaction. I feel that the administration is, although trying to take a very cautious step and keep everyone safe, I feel that they're not looking at it from a whole. I feel that in the mix of trying to keep things safe and trying to keep our students safe, they're going to lose the students as far as education-wise. My biggest concern is that right now, the e-learning seems to be a very difficult problem. It was a very big problem at the end of the school year last year, and there were a lot of students who were just lost and didn't get either heard from and missed some type of instruction or things of that nature. My greatest fear at this moment is that we're going to have a whole year long of school that there's going to be students that are just not going to get the instruction that they need.
Okay. Well, what's your daughter saying? What is she saying about all this?
My daughter is a face-to-face interaction type of learner. She's a hands-on learner. She's struggling with the e-learning just because you get up in the morning, there's an assignment there on the computer for you, you do that, it may take an hour, it may take 2 hours, and you're done. And a lot of the instruction is either researching it on your own, or it's communicating via email back and forth with a teacher. And there's a large number of students that just you can't grasp every concept over an email or a text message or reading it off a computer. Sometimes it really takes that extra face-to-face, hands-on instruction. My daughter has a biology class, and as a nurse, I can tell you biology is not something that you learn over email.
Right.
There's a lot of really hands-on things that you've got to do.
Okay.
So she's not happy about the e-learning, as she's a 16-year-old teenager, so she also misses the social aspect. She's very much wanting to make those lifelong connections in high school that she's missing, because there's just, when they are there 1 day or 2 days, they're sitting in a room where there may be 1 or 2 other students, or they're in a commons area for the cafeteria that they're sitting at individual desks that are 6 to 10 feet apart.
Yeah, that was where I was kind of going with this too, since you have a daughter. what are the social aspects and limitations? You know, how does she feel about that? I mean, I'm sure it kind of depresses her in a way.
It's very difficult for her. I think that a lot of the students have found that, and a lot of the students I've talked with, her friends, students from other schools and things of that nature, and a lot of the parents, their concerns are that their students are missing, my daughter especially, that social interaction. As we all know, in high school, we make friends that we may have for the rest of our lives. Yeah. And you find connections, and you find, you know, what you're going to do with the rest of your life as far as, you know, looking at colleges and looking at those applications. It's a very critical time in our lives as far as planning out our future. And sometimes those social interactions are very vital, and she's missing those. Like I said, she plays softball. There's no, you know, thus far there haven't really been any team practices or meetings, or, you know, the girls used to all meet together before school or after school, and they're not doing that now. So she is very desperately missing that social interaction part.
Yeah, as I'm sure most all the, you know, athletes and students are. So it's been brought up about Greenville County, the biggest district in the state, about how, you know, as a county, if it could be broken down into districts, that would be better. Would you, elected to the school board, support an evaluation to maybe break Greenville County up into districts, or something different than the way it's set up now?
I know in the past it has been discussed. I know it's been brought up quite a number of times through the years. I am for at least having it evaluated. I think that when we're in certain situations, things that come up that we've never dealt with before, such as we're in right now, we have to look at any and all options out there. So I think that at least looking at the pros and cons of breaking the district up, how would that look? What, you know, what would we do? What would that look like? I think that would definitely warrant some extra time and some attention from the school board.
Okay. So if you could make one or two changes in the current structure of the Greenville County schools and what they're going through right now, what would those be?
Probably one of the biggest changes I would love to see is the parents to have an option. I don't feel the parents were given option of face-to-face or virtual learning. I don't think that e-learning is a very viable solution for learning. Probably one of the biggest changes is I would like to see them be given a face-to-face option, a 5-day face-to-face option. I think that with the numbers that we have currently in Greenville County, I think that is a very plausible option. I think it's very feasible. I think it's something that we could handle. I think the teachers would appreciate that, because I feel the teachers are missing their students and don't feel that they're being able, the teachers I've spoken with don't feel that they're able to actually teach as they have wanted to teach. So probably the biggest change I would like to see made is parents being given an option. Obviously, as a parent, if you're not comfortable with your student being there, you have the virtual learning option. But I think that they should be given an option. That would be probably my first and foremost biggest change. The other change that I would like to see made is, as a medical professional, I know that there are multiple schools in the district that don't have full-time nursing care. If you're going to make changes based on a pandemic that is, you know, you're saying you've got to have someone there to assess students and to do these things, you need to immediately find those resources. And currently we have 10 schools without medical professionals in the building. And I think that that is something that needs to be taken care of immediately. Aside from the pandemic, anything could happen at that school that you need a medical professional for. I think having schools with no one there, or staff that may not be adequately trained to handle an emergency, is just not, it's just not a good thing.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that's almost negligence. When you know you have that many people in one location, every day, day in, day out for, 7, 8 months out of the year.
Exactly.
That they don't have somebody there. So that's a great point. So have you talked to many teachers during this, and what's been their response, and what's been their concern, and what have they told you?
I have talked with some teachers. The teachers I have spoken with, for the most part, they want the students back in classrooms. The ones that are having to do e-learning are very strained, having to get what few face-to-face actions they have during the week, along with trying to keep up everything for e-learning. It's almost like their workload has doubled. They feel that they're not able to adequately provide what they need to for the students. There are a few teachers out there that I know I've talked with that feel that maybe they would prefer the virtual learning, and a lot of them move to the virtual learning. In doing that, though, they've ended up with 100 students, and that's very difficult as well. How do you provide for 100 students? They do that on a college level, but third and fourth graders aren't on a college level,
Right.
so that makes it very difficult. But the majority of the students the majority of teachers I've spoken with, they want their students back in class. They miss that social interaction that they get from the students. That's why they go into teaching, is to be able to be there for those students. For a large number of students in the Greenville County District, that teacher is their safe place sometimes. That's someone that they look to as a leader, a mentor, a guidance in their life. And so those teachers are missing that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't agree more. How do you feel the communication is between the Greenville County School Board and the parents? And if you were elected to the school board, how would you improve that?
Well, speaking from personal experience, I'm not sure that the communication between the school board and the parents is there at all. I don't know that I've really heard anything from the school board as a parent. I haven't talked to any parents who have any communication with the school board other than emailing them, parents initiating an email to the school board. And typically what they're getting back is a standard response,
Right.
One that goes to everyone. So the communication is almost not, there's not any. Obviously, as a school board member, I'm sure it's very difficult to communicate with everyone in your district. If elected to the school board, I would like to try and find a way that we as a board communicate with the district as a whole. Obviously, I would want to communicate with my community. I believe you're in Area 17, which is my area.
Right.
But I would want to try and find a way to, what would work best for them, for me to communicate with them, be it blasting something from email, be it blasting something from the schools, communicating with the schools in general. But us as a board needs to communicate with our district on a regular basis. There's meetings, we can provide minutes, we can provide things that the community feels like they're at least getting something.
Exactly. That's great. That's great. So what are some miscellaneous items that you would like to see addressed, or that you feel like there's a concern with Greenville County Schools?
Primarily, as I mentioned, my daughter plays softball, so I'm really concerned about the students who play sports. A lot of students in the district who play sports, they're looking for that college scholarship. They're looking for something to get out of sports. Sports gives them an outlet for things, gets them exercise. A lot of the students in today's world live on a phone or a video game. Sports is sometimes that extracurricular outdoor thing that they get. But it does provide scholarship opportunities for a lot of students that may be struggling with how they would pay for college and things like that. So I really think that the sports has been something that's kind of been pushed to the wayside until there was a lot of squeaky wheel getting the oil kind of thing. Football was up in the air. I think they have let them, to my knowledge, there's some football going to be happening and things, which I think is a good thing. But there's a lot of other extracurricular activities. There's a lot of clubs that the students do, Beta Club, Honor Society, Future Christian Athletes of America. There's a lot of those clubs out there that the students have been a part of that they're missing out on because they're not allowed to meet in groups and they're not allowed to have that interaction. I know the schools have drama clubs. They have lots of different organizations that the students aren't allowed to be a part of, and I think those have been forgotten.
Okay. No, I totally agree with you. Matter of fact, I was talking with someone the other day, and they were talking about their the beta clubs, you know, and things like that, where kids are not athletes, and that's okay, but they're members of clubs, and those clubs are not allowed to meet either.
They do have extracurricular things that they do. My daughter also attends one of the career centers, and I know she was telling me one of the problems that they're having is the career centers need to do on their e-learning days, they're needing to do a Zoom meeting. The problem is there wasn't a set aside time for the career center to have Zoom meeting time, and so the teachers are taking it. So it's very difficult for them to be able to find time, so they're missing out on an opportunity for some learning there. And a lot of kids nowadays that aren't looking at college are looking at the career center. They are looking at that type of, you know, future workplace, and that's something that they're needing.
And that's something I think Greenville County has done an awesome job with, is their career centers.
Yes.
In the past. My daughter, she graduated from Blue Ridge, and she did cosmetology from the Career Center, and I know several people whose children have done that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
The career centers are vital. I'm a graduate of NRE Career Center. I started my nursing career there quite a few years ago. But it's very important that we have that opportunity for the students. It's sometimes either a stepping stone to get into college, or it's a very good place to find your career and find your path, and you can come out of there able to go ahead and enter the workforce. And if we miss that opportunity, I feel that we're doing a great disservice to our students.
I agree. So, Dollie, take a couple of minutes and as we wrap up here, and just tell us why you think you'll be a great person on the school board. I know you're a great candidate for it, and you know, how you would move things forward if you got on there, you know, some ideas you have.
Well, I can tell you that, to my knowledge, I would probably be the only medical professional on the school board. I'm not sure if there's another medical professional on there. If there is, that's awesome. However, I think that it's a great opportunity to have someone on there who's looking at things from a different perspective. I do still have children in school. I know a couple of the other candidates still have children in school, and we do look at things from the perspective of what's happening right now, what's going on in the world right now. As a nurse, like I said, I'm very versed in what's going on with the pandemic. I think that it helps when you're planning how things are going to happen in your schools, to have someone that can look at it from that angle and to be able to discuss it from the side of what's happening in the medical community and how things are changing and what's being done. I do come from the area. I've grown up here. I've lived here just about my entire life. I have traveled around some, so I have seen things in different areas. I've seen school districts in other areas. And I think that just having that fresh view and that, you know, I don't want to say young way of thinking because I don't look at myself as young any longer. But I do think it is, you know, once you've served on something for a certain number of years, I think it's time maybe to have someone else come in. Maybe a fresh set of eyes is always a good thing. Yeah. So.
Well, great. Dollie, thank you so much for being here on the show. I really appreciate it. And thank you for having me. Thank you for running. I appreciate that. We need to get people, you know, good people on boards, school boards here. So thanks again to Dollie Collins, District 17 for the Greenville County School Board. Thanks again to our sponsors. And remember, stay connected with SC Conversation, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again to our guests and our wonderful sponsors. Remember, you can stay informed about SC Conversation during the week on our Facebook page and website. Also, feel free to send us an email at info@scconversation.com. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.